Abushamu Akwaba Sonkon Edoba Possible TVGH. Way a news update. Meeting a different statue, aka Possible. Members of Sewa Dajano, any day council. Young Moon Rem Nientin Samuel audio.
12 billion. So my argument is that if you've mobilized 19 billion and you've spent 12 billion, at least give us an indication. You receive IMF 1 billion. You are telling us that you raised a bond of 10 billion. You're also telling us that you had some sources from World Bank. You've given us the numbers. But you have spent 12 billion. Give us an idea where the rest of the money is. The bond that you received, the IMF money that you received, where is the rest of that money? So Speaker, I think it's a legitimate question. It is a legitimate question, and that is my second point. So Speaker, Mr. Speaker, so the difference here that I am seeing is 7.3 billion Ghana cedis unaccounted for, and I want to find out where is that money. It's legitimate. So Speaker, my third point relates to the fact that our minister responsible for finance has given us an indication that he spent 12 billion Ghana cedis so far, 2020 and 2021. The Speaker, my concern has to do with the fact that, yes, he has given us some headline items. He said to us, and it is also in the media review of the year 2021, Government of Ghana's media review. And if you refer to page 101, appendix 4.3 of the media, 4E of the media review, the same thing has been stated here. Mr. Speaker, the minister had said, and let me commend him for the consistency in reporting. Mr. Speaker, page 101 of the media review is also in the same statement, appendix 1 of the media of the document that he's given to us. He said, Mr. Speaker, that they have spent 598 million at the time from January to June 2021. 598 million, equivalent to $1 billion for the purposes of $100 million for the purposes of payment for nose masks, hand sanitizers, and Veronica buckets. Mr. Speaker, my concern is, yes, you spend 598 million for nose masks, hand sanitizers, and Veronica bucket for the reopening of schools, but at what cost? We need the fine details, expenditure returns of that. We will need expenditure returns. So Speaker, you went on in your own document. You said that you paid 36 million for the design of Agenda 111. For who? 36 million. For what purpose? Design of Agenda 111. So Speaker, in the same document, he went on to say, page 100 of the media review, again stated here, and that's what I'm saying, I commend you for the consistency. So Speaker, he says here that Agenda 111, January to December 2020, provision of health infrastructure, Agenda 111, district and regional hospital, 600 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, my question is, you spent 600 million for Ghana cedis for Agenda 111. Noble idea, but have they used the money? And at what time? I know the president cut the sword for Agenda 111 in 2021, but this money was spent in 2020. So Speaker, I think it is fair for me to ask this question. So Speaker, on that basis, Mr. Speaker, I call on you, Mr. Speaker, to invoke Article 103 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, that says the Parliament shall appoint standing committees or any other committee as may be necessary for the effective discharge of its function. So Speaker, we cannot sit here and say that the Minister of Finance should be the only one accounting for the COVID amount. So Speaker, the Minister responsible for Finance is only a conduit of releasing the money. But the monies were spent at the various MDAs. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, I call on you, Mr. Speaker, to set up an ad hoc committee so that we can bring the various head of the MDAs, in particular, that spent the money, to account for this in detail.
I don't want to call your name. Yes. Honorable Ato Forson, you may sum up. If I hear you shout across the aisle I'll be compelled to name you.
I'm not.
Please. Yes. May you conclude?
Mr. Speaker, I'm concluding. Mr. Speaker, I'm calling on you, Mr. Speaker, to use the powers under the Constitution, Article 101, to set up 103 of the Constitution, to set up an ad hoc committee to particularly get the various covered entities that spent the money to account for it in detail. So, Speaker, yes, I've seen a bold attempt by giving us some headline items. I acknowledge that, but there are gaps. The gaps, I cannot ask the minister responsible for finance to give me the details of the fact that they spent $100 million on nose masks and hand sanitizers. I have to ask the minister who purchased that. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking you that this committee must be established by this House, chaired by a member of the minority committee, so that we can go into the details to get the details out, and all of us will be able to get the facts as we need to. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I gave the ranking member for finance ample time because he's a ranking member on the committee for finance. I will apply same to the, I think it's the chairman, vice chairman, who will be speaking for and on behalf of the chairman, the same time to also make comments. So chairman, vice chairman for the committee on finance, please, you can do so now. Make your comments now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm very disappointed in my colleague, Honorable Ato Forson. I expected much from him. I expected in-depth analysis of what he's been spewing on the airways and blindfolding the minds of the good people of this country that there's been something untoward with regards to the COVID-19 expenditure. He didn't even read the report, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me refer you to paragraph...
Honorable Vice Chairman, you are to make comments on the statement made by the minister. You are not to debate. You are to make comments, and in fact, the deputy majority leader emphasized this. So go on with your comments.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for your guidance. Mr. Speaker, let me refer you to paragraph 15 of the statement made by the Honourable Minister of Finance. Mr. Speaker, it must be noted that the status of utilization of the funds to finance the COVID-19 measures excludes funds of the National COVID-19 Trust Fund and the Ghana Private Sector COVID-19 Fund. Mr. Speaker, it must be put on record that my colleague never read the statement and did not avert his mind today. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, our colleagues have been on the rampage. Our colleagues have been on the rampage trying to foul the atmosphere in this country with regards to the expenditures that the minister has ably presented to the House. Mr. Speaker, a summary of the expenditures are captured on pages 14 and 15 of the statement. Mr. Speaker, in March 2020, when the COVID-19 outbreak occurred, we all were very scared and did not have any clue about this pandemic. It took a responsible government to devise a very deliberate plan to protect us. Mr. Speaker, all the 275 members in this chamber are alive we all benefited one way or the other from the reliefs that have been presented to this House.